Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this academy. Well, let's get down to business and look at today's agenda. This is about the automatic cleanup feature. That is not a very complicated feature. Think that this academy will take about 30 minutes. In itself, the content of this feature might hardly justify an academy. Like I said, it's not very complicated. But the nature of this feature does justify an academy, because we will actually start deleting surveys from your domain, which we judge to be inactive, and deletion in Nfield is quite definite. So we wanted to have the maximum attention for everyone, explain very clearly what this is, why we are doing it is, and so everybody understand what is going on. So there will be an introduction where I explain the background of this feature. Then I will completely explain the detail what we will be deleting, when, and how. The demo will be very short because, as I said, this is not a complicated feature, so that demo will mainly be me pointing at things in the manager. And as always, we'll have some time for questions. So, what the introduction? First thing to remember, Nfield is a data collection platform. Let's also remember what it is not. It is not a data repository. You are meant to clean up your data the moment you are done with the data collection and you have downloaded your data. There are some onboard reporting tools, but those are meant to monitor your field work or to monitor the progress of that field work to your clients. It is not meant to use as end reporting. So if you are in that phase, if you are finally end reporting to your client, you should no longer have that data in Nfield. If you are interested in using Azure as a data repository, we have a different solution for that. And I will point you to Academy 35 standard and custom reporting, where we explain what that solution is and how you can use that. I will not go into details in this academy about this. So, other reason why you should not want inactive data on your domain is it's a data protection issue. There is GDPR legislation in the EU that used to be the most toughest data protection rules. That's no longer the case. There are even more tougher rules outside the EU. And even if you are currently living in a country that does not have data protection rules, you can reasonably be assured that sooner or later those rules will be there. And a typical feature of those rules is that you should not be storing data if you have no business reason to store that data. And as said, Nfield is a data collection platform. So when you are done with data collection, you have no business reason to have that data on Nfield anymore, and you should be deleting it. Other reasons why we don't want that many surveys on a domain, it actually clutters the manager. We actually have domains where there are thousands of surveys, and that makes it very difficult to find the one survey you want to be working on. It makes the manager slow, and last but not least, it is simply expensive to store that much data. Now, reason why there are so many surveys on some of those domains is because they are inactive. They are sleeping surveys. We asked many times to DAs to start cleaning up domains, and everybody is very willing and then starting to clean up. But then they hit on a lot of surveys they cannot clean up, not because they are sleeping surveys, but because they are abandoned surveys. They simply don't know what the status of that survey are. It are surveys that are created by someone who then never looks at the manager again, or surveys created by people who left the company or moved on to another position, and now without cleaning up the environment. And in most cases, it are surveys that are created by a third-party tool that is using our API, that is capable of creating surveys, but not capable of deleting those surveys from the Nfield manager. Very often it is capable of deleting the survey from the survey list in that third-party tool, but that does not delete that survey from Nfield. And if you do that for some time, you wind up with thousands of unused surveys on your Nfield domain, like some of you do. So therefore, we will be introducing an automatic cleanup. Now, what that means is that we will actively start deleting surveys that have not have an activity for a long time. What will happen, when, and based on what, that depends on the survey state. So as a last slide of the introduction, let's have a quick reminder of what those survey states are, and then we start looking at the details of the survey. The 3 survey states are under construction. This is the survey state that in which your survey is the moment you hit the create survey button, then it is under construction. You can add your script, then you can add sample, test your survey, publish, and then test externally. And at some point you will start your field work, and that is the moment where the status changes from under construction to started. That is all the while you are doing your field work, it will have that started status. And then when you're done with your field work, you are supposed to stop your field work, and the status then changes into stopped. A stopped survey can be restarted. So you can refer back to the started state once it is stopped. Once you have left the under construction state, you cannot go back to that under construction state. So with that reminder of the survey states, let's take a look at the details. What will happen to those under construction surveys? They will be marked as will be deleted 50 days after you have created that survey. 10 days after these surveys are marked as will be deleted, so that is 60 days after the creation date, those surveys will be deleted. Creation date is clearly visible in the survey overview. I will show you that later. The only way to prevent deletion is to actually start data collection on these surveys. Because then the status changes into started, and then the next phase kicks in. Only, as you can see here, is between quotation marks, because we have some exceptions. I will talk about that shortly. So that is the under construction state. Basically, you have 60 days, which is almost 2 months, to finish your construction work and start field work on these surveys. Once a survey is stopped, again, just as the under construction, there are 50 days before it will be marked as will be deleted, and again, just as what the under construction, 10 days after that mark, it actually will be deleted. That is 60 days after the stop date. Stop date can be found in not the survey overview as it says here. It can be found in the user log. I will show you later where you can find that. Again, the only way to prevent deletion after 60 days is to start data collection on these surveys again. So refer them back to the started state. Once we have deleted a survey, an email will be sent to the configured email address in the DA account. So that is for the stopped survey, and then we have one more survey state left, which is started. That is the survey state between under construction and stopped. Any started survey will be marked as will be stopped if there are for 20 days no interview activities on that survey. So it will not be deleted and it will be stopped. And then 10 days after that survey is marked as will be stopped, so that is 30 days after the last interview activity, these surveys are actually stopped. A stopped survey means that you can no longer start an interview on that survey. The last interview activity can be found in a management page. Again, I will show you in the demo where you can see that. Only way to prevent stopping after 30 days is to start an interview on these surveys. And once it is stopped, clearly the regime for stopped surveys will apply. So then you have again another 60 days before it actually will be deleted automatically. So that is for the under construction, the started and the stopped survey. As I already said, we have exceptions, 2 of them. We know that the under construction is used for by a lot of you to create model surveys. A model survey that a scripter can then refer to and use as an example to set up a survey. That is what this automatic deletion feature no longer possible. Those surveys will be deleted. To help you, we will create a new feature which we call blueprints. That feature is not live yet, but it will be released this quarter. And those blueprints, those are model surveys that you can then use as a template for any new survey that you create. We will start those blueprints with only the quota, because that, as far as we can see, is by far the most used case for those model surveys. So that is one exemption that we can make that will be available once the blueprint feature is ready. The one that is available right now is actually the one you see on the right side. You can actually exclude a specific survey from this automatic deletion and stopping. We have put a limit on that. You can only exclude 50 surveys. If you want to exclude the next one after the 50, you have to deselect one survey. So those are the exceptions. Now, the demo, let's take a look where you can actually see all of this. So let me switch to my domain. Okay, let's sign in again then. When signed in, you will see the survey list. And as you can see here, I don't have any surveys in my domain that will be deleted. I have a few, as you can see here, are marked will be stopped. If I had one that had the status will be deleted instead of will be stopped, there will be a red pill here which says will be deleted. If I hover over this, it will actually tell me when it will be stopped in 1 day. This one created 21 days ago. If I hover over this one will be stopped in 9 days. So if I want to know when a survey will be stopped or deleted, I can hover over it and it will tell me when this will happen. As you can see, those will be stopped surveys are sorted on top. The same is true as for the will be deleted. Also, those surveys are sorted on stop. I will have an overview after this demo where I will explain what the exact sorting order of the manager is, because it's not only the will be deleted and the will be stopped that are sorted on top. We have a few more. So They are sorted on top. Certainly when this feature is turned on your domain and you have a lot of started surveys, that might mean that you have an awful lot of surveys on that first day that are sorted on stop because they will be stopped in 10 days or maybe even the next day if they are very old surveys. That could clutter up a bit of your overview there. Therefore, we have created a filter. If you go to filter, you can actually filter on the will be stopped or the will be deleted date. The will be stopped date is the one I can filter on the days. In this time, I will simply want to filter out. So I say will be stopped is empty, true. So I only want to be served. So I only want to see surveys for which the will be stopped field is empty, and apply that filter, and the will be stopped is now filtered away. Okay, so that is how you apply this filter. Let's reset this filter. Next thing, as I said, the only way to get rid of that will be stopped, except from the exempt status, is to actually start a survey. So let's very quickly take a look at that. Let's take a look at this particular survey. Let's keep them in view. So let's actually put a filter where we say filter name, survey name is quota LF, and that should leave us with only this survey. So quota setup, I want to do an interview on this survey. So I need to get the link here. Copy live link will be stopped. See this here, and as soon as I start a survey on this one, I have started the survey, and if I now refresh this, the will be stopped is actually gone. So as soon as you start a survey, you have a new interview activity, and that will be stopped is gone, and you have another 20 days before that will be stopped will appear again. Okay, so this is how you can reset that. Here you can also see the exclude the survey from automatic deletion. It is, you can see that on the general page of the survey. So you have to open the survey, then go to setup general page, and there you can exclude a survey from automatic deletion and stopping. As soon as I tick that, it will say there are still 9 remaining because I have already excluded 41. There is a second way to actually, because this is a started survey, there is a second way in which I could do this. If I, for instance, look at the Pepsi survey, what I could also do, because this is a started survey, is simply stop this survey. This is a bit of a risk, because if now someone starts the survey, he will not be able to. He will be sent to a page that says this the field work of this survey has stopped. But if I immediately start it again, as you can see, that will be stopped is already gone, and it will not appear again because it's not only the last interview activity date. That starts counting from the start date. So if the start date is more recent than the last interview activity date, the start date is the one that will count. Okay, we have seen how to exempt the survey. Now let's take a look where we can find all those dates. So back to the surveys, the creation date, which is the one that is important for the under construction surveys. Those you can see here in the survey list, the creation date. As you can see, lots of them are very old. This means they are automatically stopped by the survey and they will be deleted in a few weeks. Then the stop date. The stop date can be found in the user log, and the user log you can download from the domain settings. Download logs, I need to give that a date. I will include next week, last week. And that will create the user logs. If I go to my activities, here are my user logs, so I can download them, open it. And that will open this in Excel. And here it's the action that I want to see. Username. And here you can see the stop field work on what survey this was taking place. So here, if you are curious, what is the actual stop date of a survey? Here is where you can see that. And here you can also see you have a ID and a username which actually performed this action. If that ID is manager, it actually means that this stop has been done automatically by Nfield and not by a particular user. This is an automatic stop performed by the manager. So this is where you can find the stop date, the last activity date. The easiest way to refer to that one is you go to the management page. Here you will see the last interviewer activity. And as you could see, if I look at the Pepsi survey, that is the one where I did not force an interview, but that I restarted. And as you can see, the last interview activity is still 5 months ago. It is not to be stopped because the restart of this survey is a few minutes ago. This is basically demo. One thing that was a question yesterday, which might be good to handle that right now immediately. The question was if I want to see which survey I have exempt from deletion and stopping. We do not have a single overview where you can see a list of the surveys that have been exempt. But it's something that if you make a filter, you can very quickly locate these surveys. For instance, if I make a filter on the started surveys, it will not only show the started surveys, and if I then sort these surveys in from the oldest one to the newest one, I can reasonably be sure that the ones that are now stored on top and are this old and are not will be stopped are probably surveys that are exempt. And if I look at this one, setup, indeed, this one is exempt, which is the only reason why it hasn't. So if you want to look which surveys have I exempt, you have to be a bit smart on the filter you create, but then you can very easily find these. This is the demo. As I said, it's not that complicated. Let's the one thing that I promised you, the actual sorting order of that survey list. The first surveys that will be sorted on top are the surveys that are using excessive resources. There's a separate academy that deals with how to handle these surveys, so I will not go in details, but this is the most serious one. The red ones are the ones where the system actually had to take action to prevent a survey from completely derailing. So those are surveys that you need to take a look at. That is the reason why those are colored red and why those are always on top if you have any. Second priority in showing those surveys are the surveys that are using excessive resources, but are yellow, which means which means a warning. They are close to a threshold, but they have not exceeded that threshold yet. Then we will show the surveys that have the pill to be deleted, and then the surveys that have the pill to be stopped. And then finally, after that on, we show all other surveys sorted on the configured sorting order. If you have non-configured, it is the creation date, starting with the newest one on top. So, any questions at this point, Art?
Yes, there are a couple of questions, Frank. Yeah, we saw you removing the will be stopped state by doing a live interview. Question was, would a test interview also count towards being an active interview?
No. You have to start a real interview.
Okay, good. And well, the same question as came up yesterday is about who can exclude surveys from automatic cleanup. Any user or a specific profile?
That is anyone who can actually get to that survey. Yeah.
Okay, these were the questions. So.
Okay, then I have one last remark, which is more of a reminder. As I said, the data protection laws that are valid in most countries actually says you have to have a business reason to store data. So the feature that we have implemented here, you should see as a last resort. If the procedure that you have for deleting data for some reason fails, this is the last resort, which will make clear that at least after some time, those surveys will be deleted anyway. You should not rely on this. You should have a procedure to delete data. Because if you are, for instance, falling under the GDPR, under the GDPR regulation, and it is asked of you, why are you storing this data? Your answer cannot be because NIPO hasn't deleted it yet. So we are not the owner of this data. You are the owner. You must have a business reason why you are storing this data. So that is one last reminder. Any final questions?
Something's just coming up. I will read them out. Automatic cleanup feature will work in each domain individually on an overall level.
Yeah, on each domain. Yeah.
Okay. And if we have a base script which we run yearly, do we need to back up the queue file medias to our file server?
Yeah. Or you need to exempt that survey from automatic stop and deletion. One of the two.
Yeah, and there's not a bit longer question, but it's about a complicated quota frame, and that is the reason why they keep a survey on the Nfield server because of this frame.
As I said, there will be a blueprint feature, and the first delivery of that blueprint feature is quota frame. So then you can set up that quota frame in that blueprint, and then from that point onwards, you can use that blueprint to create your surveys. And then each survey that you create based on that blueprint will have that quota frame.
Okay. Yeah, well, they were asking.
That is actually better than what you have now for the under constructions, where you still need to download then that quota frame and then upload it again. Okay.
There's a final question coming in, Frank.
Okay.
If everyone can exclude surveys from automatic cleanup, can they uncheck the surveys also from everyone or only their own surveys?
Yeah. No. From every survey that you can open. Yeah.
All right. I think that's all, Frank.
Okay. Then the final remarks. Recording of the session will be available later this week. As always, manuals will be updated. For now, this feature will be live on request. Once we are confident in that this is working as we expect it to work, we will roll it out for everyone that will that will then be communicated in the DA mails. For those of you that are creating automation or using the API calls, the API calls are extended to. The first one is the survey resources. This gives you an overview of the status. So in the survey resources, it is now also mentioned when a survey will be deleted or when it will be stopped. And in the general settings, there is now a setting added where you can exempt a survey, or you can see if a survey is exempt. As said, next Academy will be about the blueprints, and we are busy creating a new quota manual that will probably be quite a complicated manual. So we will have a few Academy sessions about that one. Depending on how complicated the blueprints are, as I said earlier, the first delivery of that blueprints is quota. We might combine these two with the first session about the new quota manual also handling the blueprints. You can expect an invitation to that somewhere this quarter. And, thank you for joining, and talk to you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you all. Bye bye.